Hey guys, welcome back. Now, if you see the chair that I'm sitting on right now, this is the APOL Behemoth, okay? Now, I featured APOL a couple of times. The first time was in one of the IT shows last year. I also decided to interview Jason from APOL. But this is the first time that I've actually had the chair with me to actually test out over a few weeks, and now finally, we're going to review it, and I have to say this is one of the best gaming chairs out there. Okay, yeah, so like I said, this is the Behemoth made by APOL. Now, they currently have three designs actually that's available right now. You've got the Kraken, you've got this Behemoth as well, which is bigger, obviously. That's why they call it the Behemoth. And they now have sort of like a mid-category called the Sphinx. But right now, we're going to focus on the Behemoth. Now, the Behemoth was made with the bigger person in mind, like myself, all right? So you're talking about a chair that is solidly built. It supports up to 130 kilos, which definitely falls under my category. I won't say how much. But yeah, I mean, when I opened it out of the box, everything just screamed quality. I was really impressed by all the parts. Now, speaking of the parts, now like I said, when you buy the chair, you have a few options. You can either self-collect it in a huge box. You have the option to have it delivered, and you have the option to have it delivered plus assembled for you. That means they bring it over to your place and then they assemble it. They don't assemble it and then bring it over. But yeah, so that these are your options. Now, I requested for it to be unassembled, and I had it delivered, and then I assembled it myself just to see how it was like. And overall, it wasn't too bad. I think it is possible for it to be done by one person. However, in my opinion, unless you really want to have a go and want to build it yourself, then that's fine. I wouldn't build it myself to save the money on the assembly. Just to give you an idea, if it's self-collection, it's free, obviously. To have it delivered to your place, it's an extra $20. And to have it delivered and assembled, that's $40. So if you just want to build it to save the $20, I would say maybe just get them to assemble it for you. It'll be a lot easier. The chances of you making mistakes is a lot less. Although, having said that, if you do want to assemble it yourself, APOL has really gone out of their way to make it as seamless and as easy for you as possible. All right, now they actually give you something like this. Now, before I show you this, now every game chair or any chair or anything that you buy that needs to be built, they would give you a guide, and most of the time it's black and white, made of paper. You know, the first thing come to mind is like IKEA. All right, so whatever you buy comes in this really cheap material paper. You know, they show you how to build it. APOL does that as well. However, it looks more like a brochure than it does an installation guide. I mean, first of all, it's made of this sort of like plasticky, what do you call it, like a magazine material. Yeah, it really looks like something that you would give out at expos, but no, it is actually just the installation guide. And looking at it, I would say that it's really well done. It's very easy to understand the guide. Although one small thing was I realized that in number 3, step 3, right? So the picture of the screw wasn't actually the same as the screws that I got. But I spoke to the guys at APOL about this, and straight away they said that, yep, they were aware of it and they were making changes straight away. So fantastic. They're not just like, oh, I'm just gonna leave it and people will figure it out themselves. No, they're actually going out of their way to make sure that this is as easy and as seamless as possible. Now, assembling the chair myself, at first when I took everything out and laid it on the floor just to get an idea of all the parts involved, I have to admit I was a little intimidated, and at first I was like, okay, this was a mistake. I should not have built it myself. But yeah, I mean, after taking out the installation guide, looking through it, turned out to be actually very easy and very straightforward despite the number of parts around. I've had this for a few good weeks to test out, and I have to say I have been thoroughly impressed. Now, when you talk about gaming chairs on the market right now, APOL is not gonna be among the top that you would think of immediately. And the main reason for that basically is because right now it's only available in Singapore. This chair definitely punches above its weight. It is beautifully built. The quality of the whole chair, the materials are really nice. The one that I'm using right now is actually sort of a fabric material. So this has, recently that has become more popular as well. You obviously got your normal PU leather. You even have like original leather. And at first I didn't quite understand why. To me, it just seemed like it didn't make sense. I mean, why would you want something that, would definitely absorb any sweat or water or anything like that? It just didn't make sense to me. So I was like, okay, never mind. Let me try it out and see how I felt. And I think that was the best decision I ever made. I've obviously had PU leather chairs before. One thing that I found was an issue is that, it kind of traps the heat. So when you sit down, especially like a country in Singapore where it's really warm, it's really humid, when you sit down, what I found with PU leather is that when I start to sweat, which is very common in the daytime in Singapore, the sweat goes into the leather, and number one, it affects the longevity of the PU leather. So after a while, you're going to get cracks and all that. It's kind of inevitable. But with this soft fabric, I found that it was a lot more breathable. If there was sweat, it would evaporate away. The chair is fine. And even though it's a fabric material, it is really tough. And I mean, I'm not going to test out the fabric material, but looking at it, and you can tell straight away that it is top-notch quality. Now, one key feature about any gaming chair that has always never been good enough for me is this, the headrest. Now, with every chair that I've had or I tested out, it's never been in the correct position, or it's just not been comfortable. Now, this headrest, by a mile, all right, is the best headrest out there, hands down, all right. I was so impressed. You just sit down, and I feel like they almost had me in mind when they designed the chair in terms of the height and design. Everything fits me really well. This one, and not just like the position of the headrest, but like the material that they use, it's really comfortable, and it's not entirely sort of like round. It's slightly a bit more flat here so that you don't get it pushing your head down. So it's a brilliant design. And of course, it's not just the headrest, right? So obviously you've got some sort of lumbar support. So the one that comes with this chair looks like this, all right? So this lumbar support, same thing, doesn't stick out too much. It's got that same fabric material, same for the headrest as well, same fabric material. And yep, I can't speak highly enough about this as well. It is so comfortable, all right? But the best thing about APOL is that it's not just this, all right? So if they actually have another one, sort of like a version 2.0 or something, I'm not quite sure what you call it, but they have a different type of lumbar support that you can actually get on the APOL website. Okay, it's a bit different design, and I did get to try it out at the expo, and it was amazing. And honestly, I wish that it came with the Behemoth, but unfortunately it doesn't. It's an added thing that you can buy, and it comes out at about $97 if I'm not mistaken. But in my opinion, even though it's quite pricey compared to the price of the chair, which I'll talk about later, I actually think it's worth it, because when I sat on it, it felt like the chair sort of molded into my shape, and it was so comfortable. This one is pretty good as well, but that lumbar support on their website, the extra one, is fantastic. And if you buy this chair, I highly recommend that you buy that as well. Oh, and another thing about this chair is obviously the armrest. Now, we've actually reviewed a couple of chairs before. We reviewed the Rosy Gaming chair, we reviewed the Knex chairs. This one, in terms of armrest, is the most versatile we've ever had. It's sort of like a four-way adjustment. You can actually raise the armrest up and down, which is quite common. You can push it forward and back. You can tilt the chair, the armrest as well. You can even push it inwards and outwards, which is really great. And there is so much customizability to this that, yeah, no matter what size you are or where you like to put your arms when you game, you can definitely get this armrest and customize it to how you like it. Okay, so talking about the price now of the Behemoth, right, by APOL. So this chair comes in at $398, all right, which I think is definitely worth the money. It is not the cheapest gaming chair out there, neither is it the most expensive. So I think it's, in terms of value for money, it is definitely one of the best right now. But there's something I really like about this chair, or the company, which is not really just about the quality of the chair. And what I'm talking about really is the sort of like ethos of the company. Now, if you saw my interview sometime back when we spoke with one of the founders of APOL, Jason, one thing I really like about the company is, number one, how much attention they put in to make sure that anybody who buys the chair, first of all, gets the best value that they can, They also get like the most comfortable position or most comfortable chair that they can get. They put in so much effort into R&D. That's why you get things like the lumbar support, which is actually a second generation, the one that you can buy online, which you look at it straight away, you know that there's some sort of like customized design to it that is really good, and I haven't seen any other lumbar support that has that sort of design. Okay, now another thing I love about the way APOL runs their business is when you go to their website, you've got all their products that's available, but when you go through their accessories, you've actually got all the different parts of the chair available for sale. Now why is this a big deal? Now, and a lot of companies, not exclusive to gaming chairs, but a lot of times when you buy something, they try their best not to have the spare parts available for you, and even if they do, they price it in such a way that you look at it and you go like, what's the point? I might as well buy something new. Alright, but APOL, they really want to make sure that you get the best out of your chair. So everything from the armrest to, your headrest, the lumbar support, to the legs, to the tilting mechanism, they're all available for sale individually, and you can buy them and to replace them. And then, you can use the chair for God knows how long. So obviously now the big question, should you buy this chair? Now, like I mentioned, APOL has 3 chairs available. They've got the Kraken, they've got the Sphinx, and of course the biggest one here, the Behemoth. Alright, now if you were the bigger individual like me, this, for me, it is definitely the way to go. And there's one thing I wanted to mention as well. Now, they've got 3 chairs, alright? They've got the Kraken, they've got the Sphinx, they've got the Behemoth. Now, even though this is the biggest chair and arguably has more material, and because it's got a heavier max weight, you would think that it's more solidly built. But they've priced it exactly the same as the Kraken. So the Kraken comes in at $398. The Sphinx is $398, and the Behemoth, they didn't increase the price. They made it $398 as well. So honestly, for me, this is the gaming chair to get for someone my size. And honestly, even if you were not my size or someone smaller, this chair is so comfortable that it's a great buy as well. And obviously I don't have the other 2 chairs to test out, but feel free to contact the guys. Go down and check out their other chairs. Honestly, all of them are really good. Just for me, I like the extra space from the Behemoth. So for me, in terms of rating, I'm going to give this chair a 5 out of 5 because they've done such a good job with this chair. And of course, it's 5 out of 5. I'm going to give them a Technobabble recommended logo. Now, another reason I'm giving them a 5 out of 5 is not just about the product, which is great, but because of their business practices. The fact that they're selling all the parts available to allow you to use this chair for longer, I think is really good, and they should be encouraged and supported for this. Alright, so that about wraps up my review. Now, if you like this video, you know what to do, and I would love it if you would subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to receive notifications on our next video. I'm JP, and I'll see you real soon.